Hey there, everyone. Welcome into tonight's live stream for Wave News Extra, as we often like to do, called an informal tradition, just to get a view from our SkyTrack camera network. And yes, still a very clear, pretty look at our downtown skyline. That water, of course, it's beyond freezing. You can see there in our bug also establishing that we are below that 32-degree Fahrenheit mark, which would then explain why perhaps for the rest of our week, you joining us here on the live stream and on Wave Now, that I'm comfortable keeping this layer on. And for those of you who are joining us and know this is another way we break down the big stories of the day, I'm Jose Sosaya in the Wave Now studio. Let's get right to, of course, still I call it the lingering story of the day, just, the day-by-day effects, consequences of this pretty severe cold winter weather. What started off as the big snow event and the different iterations depending north or south where you've been across wave country, but the cold still very much dangerous, to the point where the big update for JCPS families, parents, you likely got the heads up that JCPS is going to stay NTI, non-traditional instruction, for tomorrow. So through a whole week of what would be normal school, Friday, the last day before the weekend, staying NTI, district leaders said they made the decision because they had concerns that many side streets parents often rely just to navigate, that those are still very icy. And again, this covers the changes for any after-school activities, games, athletic events, extracurriculars, and clubs like that. Again, those are going to be canceled through Sunday. Still a lot more to discuss when it comes to the weather. And NTI days, a reminder, they are recognized as standard education instruction days. They do not extend the calendar year for students and teachers, as it were. So understanding what the weather is playing a role in so much of how we're still kind of trying to adapt, hoping the sun, when things eventually do warm up, that we can, clear things up, the snow, and things just kind of fall back into a more normal routine. I will remind you that there's still more to discuss as we go to sleep tonight, waking up into Friday, discussing, the temperatures drops and more precipitation. The storm tracking team, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Hartnett's going to be back here in the studio a little later in this hour. I want to figure around 8:45 to walk you through the forecast so you can be as prepared and ready as possible for the weekend ahead. Now, we've been talking about the dangerous and deadly consequences and when this kind of cold can set in. We've learned one of the people who died in this cold run is a man from southern Kentucky, and we learned it's because his home lost electricity. Investigators in Pulaski County say they found this man in a camper trailer in Burnside, if you're familiar with where that might be. But the stark, grisly discovery is that he froze to death. His name was 62-year-old James Phillips. He was lying on the floor in the corner. Again, in this case, as we've brought you with other folks, unfortunate passing, is that it was from hypothermia. The local coroners and investigators talking about it was 9 degrees outside the trailer. It was the same temperature inside it.
It's sad when these times hit. It makes it tough on everybody. Our local RECC and KU, they're doing a wonderful job of trying to get everybody's power back on. But unfortunately, they can only do so much because they're human too.
Investigators say, and that was Clyde Strunk, the Pulaski County coroner, talking there. Investigators say Phillips lived in a part of town that did lose electricity. There was no alternate heat source working, and we think the total number now talking about 12 Kentuckians who have died as a result of this winter storm. Some other big numbers to give you a sense of the scale of this impact and how we are, almost going to be a full week after preparing for this particular last event. This is from the Team Kentucky, update from Governor Beshear's office, talking about as of 12:30 Eastern time this afternoon, about just under 6,000 reported power outages, but that is down from around 74,000 at the height of all the outages across Kentucky on Sunday. Utility crews again working throughout the clock to get these things back in order. as far as wastewater and your water, your ability to, have that working inside your house, your apartment, crews say they're trying to get and maintain service to drinking and wastewater systems. That statewide, 14 drinking water systems have been on limited operations. There have been pretty serious breaks in some of them, and those have prompted some boil water advisories for more than 11,000 people, and approximately, according to Team Kentucky, 530 folks are without water. As for anybody who in an emergency situation needed a warming center, the last check from the state level is that close to 900 people sheltered in warming centers on Wednesday night. Kentucky has more than 110 centers set up across the Commonwealth. If anyone just can't bear the cold and they're just trying to get warm while their homes are going through whatever the technical issues are. And you could find a warming center in case you or someone just needs that in this particular situation. There is a resource and a website for that if you needed to look that up. It is kyem.ky.gov. So again, just more perspectives and the stories to establish how consequential this winter weather is. In an effort to try to get the roads back to being drivable and safe, Metro snow crews, we know, and we've shown you the videos of them putting hours and shifts of work before, during, and after the storm to make sure the snow routes, those key roads across Louisville, are clear. What we want to show you right now is our Wave News reporter Logan Perrone finding an example of a street here in town where they delivered more than just a clean street, much to the chagrin of certain homeowners.
Well, it's been days since snow swept through our area here in Jefferson County. We're seeing more cars on the road than Metro trucks, but where they've been is apparent, especially here on Mount Washington Road. The road might be clear, but you can see damaged mailboxes from where they pushed the snow away. People all over the area woke up Monday morning to a winter mess outside. For Alex Gibbs and his neighbors, their mailboxes took the brunt of the storm.
This was half frozen, chunks of ice, everything else, so I'm not surprised.
Gibbs' mailbox was plowed over and damaged early Monday morning. His Ring camera was rolling when it happened.
I sent him his first because I found it first.
Twice.
Mailbox is fine, runs through it, mailbox not fine anymore. It was gone. I don't really want the mailman to have to get out of his car and stoop over to put the mail in there anymore.
Along the street, several were knocked around, cracked, and twisted, Stephen Allen's included. He says it happens frequently along the busy road and not just when bad weather hits.
Learn to live with it. It's just part of living on Mount Washington Road.
One even got a new mail slot right in the side. Collateral damage in getting the roads clear.
I mean, it happens. People make mistakes. They're out there doing their best. It's a lot of snow. I get it.
Gibbs listened to Metro leaders. He called 311 to report it so they could help him get it replaced. He's still waiting for the case to be processed, with deck screws holding it together for now. But after 15 years of mailbox mayhem, you learn a thing or two. Allen always opts for the do-it-yourself fix.
We just tape it up, duct tape and chicken wire. That's about it.
Gibbs hopes Metro officials sign, stamp, and send a check for him to get a replacement, and he hopes he doesn't have to wait much longer for it. When it does arrive, well, they'll have a place to leave it.
Oh, I got more deck screws and I still got the drill. So, maybe the next step is get some 2x4s and post up. I don't know.
Metro officials have said that if you see any snow on sidewalks that hasn't been removed, if there's any snow piles that you see or damage like that, you should be calling Metro 311. Reporting in Louisville, Logan Perrone, Wave News.
All right, thanks to Logan. And again, the news team meeting so many of you out there just trying to manage things day by day, perhaps keeping a wry sense of humor for these folks out on Mount Washington Road, just trying to make the best of a, not great situation and making those calls to report the damage when it does occur. For folks of you on the live stream, letting us know what your particular, projects have been over the course of time. For example, here, Big Dog commenting on YouTube for us. And I will chuckle sometimes at the names you all have for handles, but great that you're connecting with us, by the way, on this live stream, talking about clearing his driveway in Valley Station. Still, probably it does feel like a huge mess. I'm sure the snow's breaking off. And it's, the patience perhaps only goes so far, folks. So I do understand wanting to have a plow kind of cover those smaller roads that you do rely on. Speaking of transportation headaches that have been reported on for some time, there's still a little time left if you live in this part of town to share your thoughts on improving semi-truck traffic in a part of Louisville. So Metro DOT, they're still open to getting your feedback to improve this commercial traffic. It's the Freight Mobility Action Plan. They want to develop this to reduce the impact of this kind of big truck traffic in certain parts of older blocks, older infrastructure and buildings in the Metro. Your input is going to help Metro DOT design better routes so that commercial truck drivers can use them, delivery trucks, semis, any and all of the above. The survey, though, is up now on their website, but it is closing soon. You have until Saturday to let them know. We're going to take a quick break to discuss some more stories, sprinkle in the stuff that's not necessarily weather related. So I hope you stick around as we dive into the stories that are happening in your neck of the woods here in our homes at this point of the night, where you're hopefully somewhere warm and catching up. All right, we'll be right back with more Wave News Extra after this. All right, everyone. Welcome back into our live stream here for this Thursday, January 29th on Wave News Extra. Real quick, a reminder that we always work to update our wave3.com homepage with the stories of these big updates and, events and decisions that are happening where you live. And this has been sort of a saga we've been following for some time, that TARC now finally agreeing to sell the NIA Center to the West Louisville Dream Team, and sort of explaining kind of what these new details and terms might be. Again, you talk about the dollar amount for just over $2 million. The Dream Team initially wanted to place their bid to buy this back last July, and it's been some time since then. It works out kind of their deals so that new tenants can move in before the sale closes. So much more in depth. You can follow along and the different iterations of all the reports we've been doing over the course of time there on our homepage for wave3.com. Let me bring you back here into the studio as we discuss some other big stories and updates to share with you. One of them being that after a week of a trial that was also delayed by the winter storms in southern Indiana, it actually took the jurors in this case less than 2 hours to come back with a verdict. And this is the case of the Jeffersonville man charged with killing his wife last Valentine's Day. What is that jury's verdict? Guilty. And this is part of the reporting that our Mark Stevens, was doing in court out there today. in essence, summarizing that the jury rejected the defense's effort to convict Taylor Meyer of manslaughter instead of murder. So the details from the case laid out by prosecutors, pretty brutal, that Meyer beat, choked, killed Deborah Meyer with a wine bottle and then stabbing her 40 times, texting her family and friends that he killed her. The defense team argued that their client was reacting to an affair his wife was having and that his actions could only be described as rage. Meyer did not react when the jury returned their guilty verdict. He was handcuffed, taken to jail following that decision. And this is Mark talking to his lawyer about how he would sum up the case.
Taylor told the truth. Government thinks he told the truth. They're relying on his statements, right? And he appeared to tell the truth. Everything that happened. Remember that Taylor explained this over the jail phone by saying he snapped.
All right, so that was just Mark getting that, argument there made by the defense. And so that was just the ability to have the microphone hear what he was trying to say. That was Bart Bateau representing Taylor Meyer. He's going to come back to court in February, though, to learn his sentence, and he faces up to 65 years in prison. Another update, the Commonwealth says is trying to work to get records that were withheld by KSP in the chase that killed 10-year-old Jake Luxemburger back in 2023. If you're familiar with this case, prosecutors learned about these records through a Wave News report. Police say this chase started when Trooper Zachary Napier tried to pull over a car that wasn't stopping, so Napier went after it to chase it. The driver in the other car was Timitrius Walter, who himself is facing several charges that include murder. In a court hearing today, prosecutors said they need more time to subpoena records that they learned existed through our reporting on the civil lawsuit filed by Luxemburger's family. The lawsuit claims that Napier began to pursue Walter to avoid being dispatched to a call that would have made him late to a wedding. The Commonwealth now has the dash cam video that's related to this claim, but they're still trying to get redacted records that KSP argues are protected, and prosecutors therefore have subpoenaed KSP. Coming back here into the studio, this is a matter for the Commonwealth's largest school district and more business of legislation and bills out in Frankfurt. To that point, there's a bill being debated and discussed that would shift power from a board of education, those members, and in this case, give it to the JCPS superintendent. It did pass a hurdle today. This comes after the superintendent himself, though, said that he should not have that power. That was his own argument to the panel. Senate Bill 1 would give the superintendent of Kentucky's largest school district power to handle operations and management instead of the school board. Now, the same bill passed in 2022, but that was ruled unconstitutional by the state Supreme Court just last month. So under the bill, the school board would instead be in charge of long-term strategies. During today's committee hearing, current JCPS superintendent Dr. Brian Yearwood said that he has no need for what he considers more authority.
I'm in a very rare position. It seems that you want to give me the more authority, but I'm here to tell you I shouldn't have it.
Yearwood went on to tell the panel there that he currently has what he called a collaborative relationship with the board. He worries this bill would ruin that. On the committee there for the lawmakers, all Republican members on the committee voted to move the bill forward. 2 Democrats on the committee voted against it, but it's going to continue to make its way through the General Assembly. We'll let you know what does come of that ultimate decision for the specifying of new powers or authorities for a superintendent versus a school board. In a story from the Wave News team, when we found out today, investigators are looking into what caused a pretty massive church fire. It destroyed this building in the St. Denis neighborhood, and the church itself has been an important part in the lives of a lot of local families right there on the blocks nearby for generations. Wave News reporter Fernando Garcia Francescini has this report to share how church members are comforting each other and reacting.
The scene here on Shanks Lane is hard to ignore. Fire trucks and hoses still trying to put out what's left of a fire that destroyed the Highland Park Missionary Baptist Church on Thursday morning. The community says they are devastated over this loss. PRP Fire Chief Jason Myman says crews responded to the fire just after midnight. He says the 3-alarm fire grew rapidly, drawing out more than 50 firefighters and medical personnel to the scene. The conditions left behind by this weekend's winter storm didn't make it easy on first responders. One firefighter slipped on the ice and was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The Highland Park Missionary Baptist Church has been around for 118 years. A member of the church tells me his family has been attending Highland Park for generations and can't believe what happened.
First, it was a lot of confusion. There's a lot of memories here, so heartbroken for sure, but those thoughts didn't last long because of my faith.
Louisville Metro Arson is currently investigating the cause of the fire. While they are devastated over this loss, community members and churchgoers say they are confident they'll be able to recover from this and continue helping those in need. Reporting in the St. Denis neighborhood, Fernando Garcia Franceschini, Wave News.
Here we've got another frigid look at our downtown skyline from across the river in Jeffersonville. Hope you're staying warm out there, by the way. When we come back, we're going to run through the last series of stories to share with you. And as we'll continue working and preparing here in the Wave Now studio, a little later in the hour, the storm tracking team going to be ready for the Wave Weather Now live stream. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harned, more than happy and glad to break down what the forecast is portending. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with much more Wave News Extra. Here we are, folks, in the Wave Now studio. Appreciate you joining us for this live stream on this another not so pleasantly warm Thursday. And I'm probably being very kind in describing it that way. As you can see, I'm still wearing my puffer jacket. This next story I want to bring you into takes us again to southern Indiana. This is in Charlestown, where the community is celebrating a worst to first transformation of their tap water. This is an upgrade to the city's water treatment facility that is removing forever chemicals. You've probably heard the acronym described as PFAS, but this makes it the first of its kind as an investment for this treatment in Indiana. Our Wave News reporter, David Mattingly, was the one who got to take a look inside to see how this all happens.
Just a few short years ago, Charlestown, Indiana had some of the ugliest tap water you can imagine. Now, public officials here are bragging they have the best water in the state. 6 massive gray tanks, each filled with 20,000 pounds of granulated activated carbon, sit silently in Charlestown's water treatment facility, soaking up forever chemicals. Polyfluoroalkyl substances, abbreviated PFAS, commonly called PFAS. And it is the first of its kind in Indiana. Do you have the cleanest water in Indiana right now?
I think it's safe to say that we do. This PFAS treatment starting here is just an absolute gift to our community. But what a great way to start off providing great water for the entire state.
The PFAS system is an upgrade to Charlestown's water treatment plant that went online in 2022. Before that, residents suffered through years of reddish-brown tap water contaminated with manganese.
You get up in the morning and you don't have to worry about, putting your kid in the bath or getting that drink of water out of your refrigerator. You don't have to buy that bottled water anymore.
Charlestown wells tested among the highest in the state for PFAS, putting the city at the front of the line for the new system where forever chemicals come in, but they don't go out to the 8,000 residents and businesses depending on clean water. Charlestown is the first, but it most definitely will not be the last. All cities will be required to have a similar system in place by 2029. In Charlestown, David Mattingly, Wave News.
So it sounds like that change will be coming. More stories to share with you. Tonight, we're learning and sharing with you, if you followed the case and the story of Officer Nick Wilt, his official retirement is going to happen tomorrow, retiring from LMPD ceremoniously and officially. Officer Wilt has been honored for his recovery and his response, the first response to head to the mass shooting, if you remember that, at Old National Bank. 5 employees at the bank were killed, 8 more were hurt, and obviously Wilt suffering life-altering physical injuries as well. But he continues to show progress in his recovery. Even after he was shot in the head, you could see, his ability to walk and be having the support of his family all this time. Wilt is going to take a medical retirement from LMPD. This is a ceremony happening tomorrow. Chief Paul Humphrey and Mayor Craig Greenberg will be among the guests to honor him during this particular celebration. Some other stories to share with you. You can start registering your kiddo for summer camps at the Kentucky Science Center. Something perhaps positive for them to think of and keep their minds off of the cold, unless they enjoy the snow days, in which case that's totally fine. But these are summer science camps. The dates are going to be week-long experiences for kids in pre-K through 5th grade. There are different themes that you could choose from as families. Kids can learn more about science through hands-on projects and demonstrations. For any interested families, they can reserve a space for the weeks they want before they sell out. The first week of the camps is May 25th. For more information, you can find that on their particular website, and we likely have a link to that on wave3.com. And here is something for the adults who might indulge or partake in, being bourbon enthusiasts, as you might say. The Bourbon Trail in Kentucky, it's growing, adding 10 new spots to its list of distillery experiences. This includes not just that, but also some urban satellite tasting rooms. Several stops in Louisville include the Left Bank Distilling Company, Chicken Cock Whiskey. Very fun to say that name, I'm sure. Some of you would agree. Green River and the upcoming Whistle Pig tasting room that's going to open this spring. Now itself, the Bourbon Trail has 68 total stops. That's what's going to be at its most recent version, founded back in 1999. As a concept and an attraction, it has brought in more than 2.5 million visitors to Kentucky each year. Our last story for tonight is something unique when you have a space, a building that has its own stories over the course of generations. And in Kentucky, a lot of that history, oddly enough, has to do with the dawning and the specialization and the celebration of bourbon culture and as a product of the rich history that provides. As the U.S. as itself, we mark the anniversary, 250 years old, coming up this summer. Wave News anchor Meyer Frankfurt wanted to stop by Frankfurt, to a place that not only is rich in history, but it's going to serve a new purpose for anyone who has a chance to check out the Ashbrook House.
She's called the Queen of the Corner, and her title suits her.
It's just a gorgeous property.
At Main and Washington Streets in downtown Frankfurt is a mansion that's been a part of Kentucky's history since 1815.
It was owned by Jacob Swigert, the first mayor of Frankfurt. Colonel Bradley owned it. Colonel E.H. Taylor owned it. At one point, Woodrow Wilson stayed here. It was the Heritage Council's headquarters for a while as well.
A lot of bold ideas were born here. You heard Tyler Bromagen mention Colonel E.H. Taylor. Taylor lived here in the 1870s. He was a key figure in bourbon history and founder of Old Taylor Distillery. He used the home while developing distilleries that would become the foundation of Buffalo Trace.
I like to think that there were a lot of bourbon deals made in this library. Perhaps a couple of fights over bourbon.
The house fell into disrepair over the years, but Bromagen saw its potential and bought it.
You know, I got lost the first time walking around. I just felt like it really needed to be restored and rehabilitated for Frankfort.
After years of rehab work,
Yeah, it was kind of a labor of love.
it opened back up in 2024 as the Ashbrook,
We have some of these incredible rooms.
a boutique hotel.
Nice sunroom looking out over the courtyard.
And there is nothing cookie cutter about it,
I believe this is actually original.
keeping what makes the home so unique.
Everything about this place has been preserved as best we can.
The high ceilings, elaborate molding,
It's really beautiful. And
wainscoting,
Actually, like pressed oil,
floors,
1,000 pounds worth of marble.
the fireplaces,
But this is one of the original pieces that we decided to keep.
even the stove are from the original home.
And all the fireplace is original. The penny tile, I feel like it's kind of unique. You don't normally see that. Each room has its own different feel.
The hotel is made up of 14 unique rooms,
the walls are hand painted.
a farm-to-table restaurant,
So we can sell by the bottle.
a bourbon bar,
We do different events out here.
and garden and courtyard.
See the striping on it and just how beautiful it is.
As you go up the house on the third floor, the ceilings are lower and the rooms are more compact.
It's embracing the low ceiling height and opted for taller beds.
When you have a property that's so old,
That was converted from gas.
It's just kind of a cool look when you walk up.
Yeah.
you can only imagine who strolled the hallways and climbed the stairs in decades past. There's something special about blending old with new, showing how Southern charm can flow with modern hospitality.
Keep and preserve these buildings and showcase them. It really highlights the best of Kentucky and how we've grown as a community.
Special thanks to Myra for sharing that, pretty good, unique inside look there at the Ashbrook House, now fully renovated. A reminder, you can find that story here at the homepage, wave3.com. I always like to say at your fingertips as we update everything in real time. Notice here at the very top, we're talking about these alert days. That is going to drive a lot of this conversation, and that is why I would invite you folks to stick around here as we'll be resetting in the Wave Now studio. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harned going to walk us through the forecast, what to expect. It's a conversation, got to consider what else is in front of us as we're also talking about ways to dig out of the snow, manage what is on the ground for us, but understanding what does come next. And you get that done by connecting with us, whether that's on the Wave Now app on your smart TV devices. We're talking the Fire, Apple, Roku TV. Always enjoy having these conversations on the live stream, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X. Folks like Kentucky KY talking about the things that they might enjoy. Positive thoughts for the new additions to the Bourbon Trail and considering having that discussion to keep it going. All right, folks, we're going to break things down. Appreciate your time, and we'll be back here tomorrow night, as usual, 8:05 in the Wave Now studio for another chance to catch up on the big stories of the day. I'm Jose Sosaya. Stay warm. We'll see you soon.